In this life, guys, have power and presence. Hi guys, welcome back to Clare's Kingdom, where we talk facts, walk fierce, and remind the world that well-behaved women rarely make history. So let's get right into it. As you can see by the title and the thumbnail, we are going to be talking about the movie The Housemaid. So I just came back from the cinema from watching The Housemaid, and let me tell you, what a plot twist of a movie. Spoiler alert, just in case you haven't watched it yet. I don't know what I was expecting going into that movie, but I know we all thought the wife was the crazy one, right? Nope. First of all, let me just say 10 out of 10 movie. I recommend, if you haven't watched it, go watch that movie right now before you listen to this voice note, because when I watched that movie, all I could see was the power dynamics. All I saw was power, leverage, status. Long story short, there was a woman. She was fresh out of law school. I think she said she even dropped out. She had a baby with a father that wasn't involved, and she was in a vulnerable state. She became a secretary, single mother, and then ended up getting rescued, quote unquote, by this like kind of boss businessman. He was charming, he was sweet, he was handsome, financially free, and within a few months, I think it was even days, within a few days, weeks, they got engaged, they got married. You know, fairy tale princess life. And then of course the cliche happened where he ended up being this entirely different person, a monster, abusive, used his money and status over her. And of course it's a film, so we need to take everything with a grain of salt. So there was a lot of things that were, maybe you could say, were more dramatic or more exaggerated, but I think the baseline of the movie was how being in a vulnerable place as a woman, not having any leverage, not having any power, status, money, and then being with someone like that has the power, the status, the money, it puts you in a very vulnerable position. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with going with a man that is successful or established, but if you're not in a position where you can leave, if you're not in a position where you can provide for yourself, leave that man alone. Okay, girl, leave that man alone. Before you get in a relationship, before you deal with the man, as a woman, you need to have power, leverage, presence. Power. Why do you need power? When you're a powerful woman, that comes with being credible, being educated, being seen as stable. And not just seen as stable, you actually are stable and you're credible when you have good connections. Another thing about this woman, she was very isolated, which means she didn't really have friends, family, and her parents were unalived at a young age. So again, she was easy prey for this man because she had no support system, she had no one around her, not even acquaintances, nothing. So again, she was already isolated, and then on top of that, struggling financially, a single mother. One thing, like, I'm not gonna lie, watching this film broke my heart because I know this is the reality of so many women today. But one thing that the woman was talking about, the wife with her daughter, she was literally like talking to her daughter saying, what business did she have bringing this man into her life? Because not only did it affect, of course, the mum, aka the wife, you know, directly, the daughter was now also kind of like collateral damage to this abusive man's antics. And she even said they were better off struggling, like they were better off living paycheck to paycheck than to be with this man who gave them, I guess, the world. Because the mental games there, like, this man drove the woman into psychosis, and because she had no leverage, she had no power, she had no credibility or status in the eyes of the world, she was just seen as crazy and everyone bought it. This man was calling the police on her, putting her into psych holds, like not letting her leave until she confessed to the things that he accused her of. What's crazy is no one would believe her, and how easy it was for this man to flip the script. And the thing I love about this movie is how when the wife, another, again, spoiler alert, the wife basically hired this woman who she knew her husband would fall for to basically take her place. And what the husband didn't know anyways was, well, he tried to do these, you know, these abusive, crazy making antics to the new girl, and he met his match. And I love that because it was just giving girls power to the woman, period. Like, she literally basically flipped the script. Now he was being locked up and being told to do gruesome things to himself that he was basically telling the lady to do. And I love that because a lot of these men, like, they really need to meet their match. And this is not a man bashing channel, this is just talking about power dynamics. And whether we like it or not, a lot of the time, especially in like marriages and things like this, a lot of the time, especially if a woman is going fresh into a marriage or relationship without any financial stability, achievements, power of her own, it's very easy to be the one at a disadvantage, I guess. Because if things go wrong, in fact things did go wrong, and you know what he said, get out my house. And there was a woman on TikTok, I believe, I think she was like mid-30s, who had married a man and was a housewife basically, and she had not worked, she had kids, she looked after him, and one day he woke up and literally said, get out my house. And she's like, my house? And he said, get out. And guess what, she had to get out, and she was there crying on TikTok. My heart goes out to her and all the women going through that. But it's like, This is what happens when you don't have power and leverage as a woman. You need to be able to be in a position where if things go wrong, you don't even have to be told to leave. You will get out because you just respect yourself. And that's what this movie really highlighted. Like, as a woman, you need to have power and leverage, because imagine if she had power and leverage, because she didn't have a financial background, and she was working a low-paying job before. Imagine she had the power and the presence. She could have left. If she had the power and the presence, like the title, being known for something, people would more likely believe her, or at least give her the benefit of the doubt, because she's known for something. She's credible in some sort of way, if that makes sense. But if you're someone that's just, in the dark, no one knows of you, you have no sense of community, or just something to be able to vouch for you, but you just enter things isolated, no power, no friend, no someone to be able to vouch for you and say, yeah, this is unlike this person will not, something like that. It's very easy to be taken advantage of. So this is just a video to say, guys, in this life, have power and have presence, okay? And have money. Of course, money is just a given. If you have money, I won't say if you have money, have power, but having money helps, okay? Having money helps. If anyone tells you that having money is evil, no, they don't know what they're talking about. And a lot of those lies are told to women specifically, that, oh, if you want money, you're selfish or you're vain. No. Having money definitely adds to your power. But you can definitely be a powerful person without money, especially when you're on your way. I know for me, I'm still working towards my dream life every single day, but that doesn't stop me or stop us from setting boundaries, knowing what you will and will not tolerate. Make sure to just watch out for red flags. The red flags, they're there. You just have to pay attention. And I think the craziest thing about all of this is that this man was so charming, so genuine, so masculine, the healthy type of masculine. He was showing so much concern, oh, I hate to see you hurt, I hate to see you sad, and then boom, flip the switch. Now he was the one hurting her, telling her to hurt herself. That was crazy to me, but it's real. This stuff is real. Some people, they have partners that act so protective, no, I don't want you to wear this because and you're like, this person cares about me. You may think, wow, this person cares, but then boom, when it comes down to it, flip the switch. And this doesn't always have to be physical harm. This could be emotional, heavy on the emotional, the mental games. Because bear in mind, he didn't place hands on these women in the movie The Housemaid, because this is what inspired this message. He didn't physically hurt these women, at least initially anyways, but the mind games, the mind games were absolutely out of this world. But it's just important to have power, have leverage, have presence, work on yourself, work on your appearance, build community, build a reputation for yourself. And that could be anything, as long as it's positive, of course. Educate yourself. Read, guys. Read books about power. I recommend Robert Greene's books. I know some people see him as some sort of evil Machiavellian. No, he highlights the truths of this world, and I'm not saying you have to do what he says in those books, but it's giving you knowledge. Knowledge is power. Literally, it's better for you to know something than for you not to know it, because you not reading it does not change the fact that it still exists. You not reading or learning power dynamics does not change the fact that they exist. And being someone that's really quiet in my real life and just very observant, I see it. I see the dynamics, and it's a lot of people don't even realize that they're part of a power play. And sometimes you just have to be quiet and just watch and listen, and you will hear and see exactly what is going on. And I'm not gonna lie, this movie really reminded me okay, yeah, let me get my act together, because Ray always says in her music, I'll be damned if I let a man ruin. I'll be damned, okay, if I let a man ruin how I talk, how I walk, and how I do it. Ain't that the truth? Because don't let a man come in and disrupt you, especially when you're working towards your purpose. If he compliments you, that's fine, as in you guys can coexist together and grow together, or you're growing and they're supporting, fine. But don't ever get in a position where you feel like you're being capped or stagnant or made to make yourself smaller. Because a lot of men, especially in this movie, it revealed that even the most desirable men, money, status, power, handsome, they a lot of the time don't even want an equal as a wife or a girl or whatever dynamic you want to have. They just want someone to admire them a lot of the time, to boost their ego, give them something. And when you're a woman, especially if you're on this channel, I'm assuming you're a powerful woman, or you're a powerful woman in the making, you are gonna flick a lot of men's antennas, and that can lead them to try chase you, knock you, or access you, or quote unquote conquer you. And that's where your discernment is important, because just because he's chasing you doesn't necessarily mean he actually likes you or wants you. Sometimes he just wants to conquer you and boost his ego, so you be able to know the difference. But yeah, guys, this movie was, wow, power play. Just all I could see was the power plays, and I just love the fact at the end of the movie he met his match, because that's my energy. When people think, especially men, when they think they can do anything or treat women anyhow, and then they finally meet their match. I love that. Because, like, yes, like, equal to scales. Equal to scales. Period. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this message. Like, wow. This movie, amazing stuff. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.